Hello and namaskar. This is Jugal Call speaking from the threshold of Sheetalnath Conversations. I welcome you all into our 33rd Sunday 7 p.m. show. I hope you have spent your Sunday very well. And we are into the November month, and in the plains of the North India, there's a practice of basking under the sun, taking the sun bath during the day. Having said so, it's a great pleasure that you guys are again tuned into this 33rd show of our Sheetalnath Conversations. Your support is immense. Your interest in the program is immense. It is overwhelming with me, and certainly we have been able to, walk through 32, 33, 32, 33 milestones. Which has taken us very near to our place consciousness, the shades of our civilization, colors of our civilization, in different contours, different styles, different presentations. And we had the galaxy of people who came and spoke about their first-hand experiences, first-hand encounters. That's what makes Shitanath conversation a special one. Keep on your live interest live with the Shitanath conversation. I think this is going to be one of the most popular show in this kind of an ambit and this kind of a domain. Having said so, today we have, as I said, that we bask in the sun. So there's another basking of our civilizational sun. Today, 33rd, our this show will be yet another milestone, an historic milestone of Sheetalnath conversations. Today we'll be talking about a very, very extraordinary community of Punjabi, Kashmiri, Khatris, who owe to the valley. Who are the pioneers into the marketing and business development in Kashmir. In a way, we can say they are the developers of Kashmir, modern Kashmir. Modern Kashmir has got lot much flip in the development process because of the contribution of this great community of Punjabi, Kashmiri, Khatri. They are the natives. They are as natives as we are. It is their motherland as it's ours. So it's a wonderful subject. When we talk about Khatris, certainly we go back to the history and we see that there is one historian Puri. He says that Khatris basically they are descendants of Vedic Suryavanshi. So they are Suryavanshi warriors who are pure, who are energetic, who are blessed, and who have a capacity to deal with any situation around. And we have head of Sikhism, the saint, the spiritual master of Sikhism, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Tan Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. He was a Khatri, although he never believed in this class demarcations in the society. And we have many people in the army, Indian army, serving at different ranks, who are the Khatris, wonderful Khatris. Aroras, who made the 71 surrender, it was done by Arora. He was again a Khatri. So we have a number of examples. We can go on and on in the subject. I remember this Hari Singh Nalwa. In the recent centuries, we
I
have Hari Singh Nalwa, a great general like Hari Singh Nalwa. He was the commander in chief of the Khalsa army, and to whom the Afghanis dreaded. They fled the valley. So he was such a capable and a stratagem general, man of valor and character. So he was also a Khatri. So this to keep the story short now, we can go on and on. I like history very much, but not the typical classroom history. I really want really interested in the endearing and wonderful and brilliant historians' work. Uh, one thing I would like to say that monarchy, it was the rule of it was a rule of the time during our previous, before the democracies came in, and still we have some monarchies across the world. But monarchies were considered to be one of the most, stable form of the government. All the schemes and the plannings could be implemented, but monarchies had its pitfalls. Monarchies, they all revolved around a coterie and a central figure that was a monarch, and it all depended on the whims and fancies of the monarch. If the monarch was a people friendly, things of welfare scheme will come across the country. If the monarch was other way around, things will destroy. So there was no two-way process. Like in democracy, we have a two-way process. But we had a great monarchs like in India, like monarchy from the time of Gupta period, and we have Marathas, and we even they have Akbar's time. They say that it was a great monarchy, and they had built a wonderful society. They had helped society. They didn't infest the society, and society, it was a robust economy before British came in, and British destroyed and looted this economy through heavy taxation, and finally, because they had to pay debt home at at United Kingdom. So this is all about this entire gamut of this economy, how economy was in in our country. But coming to Kashmir, things were slightly different. Since 13th century onward, we were probably ruled by the monarchs, brutal monarchs. They were not the local kings. They had brought along with them around 1,100 people. They subjugated the entire umbrella population, culturally converted them, then tried to rule them. It was a time of pittance and penury. People have crumbled. They were smashed. Confidence was lost. Nothing was there. Which such a great civilization of the India and the world, which had gone through such a bad phase. Economy was totally disruptive. You had the economy like exchange of goods. So exchange, somebody would buy fishes, bring fishes, and give it to someone, and he get the grain. And somebody would with vegetables, and they will get the grain, and they will interexchange the commodities. That was a small economy, how they survived in the smaller circles. So that was how the economy was in those times. But we had the one of the Badshah's period was one of the great illustrious period. He had contributed a lot in the welfare of the society, and he had a very very wide vision. He believed in art, culture, literature. Even Jonaja wrote in his time the additional of the Raj Tarangani. He was interested into the Vedic sciences and all that. He was a very open-minded, a great, large-hearted personality. But later on, overall, except for this Badshah's period, all the monarchy was kind of a very dark phase of Kashmir. But finally, the last monarchy was of Dogra royalty. Dogras came. They built the great institutions. They were the pioneers in building the institutions. They built the great educational institutions, law institutions. They created the canals. They created the development. They developed sacred geography. And it is Maharaja, on instance of Maharaja Ranbir Singh, that he established Maharajganj in 1817. And then he requested the Punjabis from affluent Punjabi people in Muzaffarabad and Mirpur to come along and be part of this whole business activity. It was a wholesale provision market. And then also people from the Multan and other parts of the Punjab, they too came. And then these Suris, Baharis, Mehras, Anands, Amlas, all kind of Khatris, they came, they took this land as their own land, and they developed their entire business structure. That is the history now, and we can see that how much ethics and morality was already in there, because they had taught this art from their ancestors. So it was already in their blood. And we can see that over the period of time, especially when the independence came in, when new Kashmir was built, the Kashmiri Khatris had an immense role. They had a monumental role in development of the economy and development of the trade. Pharmaceutical and the construction business are considered to be the big wings of the modern economy. And pharmaceutical business, without it, the medical nothing, no nothing in the medical domain can survive. And same is the case with the infrastructure building if we don't have construction business. But it was the Khatris who initially pioneered into these ventures. So they are the great sons of the soil. They've contributed a lot. Today we have a wonderful, great Khatri, great native from Kashmir, Harish Bahri ji with us. And Harish Bahri is a business baron who owns a colossal network of pharmaceutical, business. And he's managing and monitoring. He was managing and monitoring since I don't know how much time. It was his family business, and it catered into the entire state. And he's a gentleman from a very royal background family. They belong to the one of the royalty of the Mirpur, royal business family of the Mirpur. And he's one of the greatest, asset of Kashmir as far as Kashmir cricket scenario is concerned. He was the great cricketer, legendary cricketer, iconic cricketer of Kashmir. In his times, actually, this in his times and his fellows' times, the professional cricket came into the fore, and Kashmir started surfacing. Kashmir and the J&K state started surfacing across. So today he's not very far away from me. He's very few seconds away from me. I'm going to invite, please, with great reverence and affection, welcome our this great native, icon, cricket legend, and a business baron, Harish Bahri ji. Bahri Sahib, you're welcome to the Sheetalnath Conversations 33rd show.
Namaskar, Jugalji. It's a great pleasure for me to join your this session, and I with great pleasure I wish every viewer on your this channel a very happy Diwali to all my brothers and sisters in the valley and all over the world whosoever is watching us. It's a great pleasure to connect with them through you, of course,
Thank,
and
thank you, thank you. Thanks a lot.
and
It's a
your
great
great
honor.
efforts.
It's a great honor of you to come and join with us and just recall your memories, go to the lanes of nostalgia, the colors, the dimensions, the romance of those times, the great times, the contributions you and your family and the community had made. And we can talk about your the Khatri because that is the subject, the prime subject of
Yeah,
today's show.
yeah.
But before that, before going to we'll talk about another colossal, another great and gigantic, trait of yours through which you have started. You and your associates have begun this journey of professional cricketing in Kashmir. You studied in SP College. I know my father was also a student of SP College. He was a leader of SP College, students leader, unopposed. And in his time, the fee structure was it was compensated. And SP College is a great institution. A lot many people have studied from there. They are very famous all over the globe. Tell us about your days and development of cricket, professional cricket in SP College, men and matters, situations, colors, stories, and also you may tell a bit about what was the legacy before your arrival. How was the cricket being played in Kashmir?
You see, cricket in Kashmir was at a very low pitch. It was never that high-profile game. The most popular game in the valley was football, due to certain constraints in the valley. Like it was since cricket is a very expensive game, and people would prefer to play game like football and like simple game, and where many players can play with the simple and the less expensive kits like football, whereas cricket is a very expensive, and since it was on a very low profile, and when we joined SP College, uh,
Yes.
actually school from the school level only we started playing good cricket. But when we joined SP College, with the great help from the administration of SP College, our principal was a great help to us. He, in fact, backed us up and gave us a lot of support financially and mentally also kept us upbeat all the time. Go ahead, get me the trophy, get me the trophy. And we said, okay, Sapsa, we will try our best. And then the journey of the cricket, started. We started having a serious net practice during the day from 2 to 5 o'clock. It was during the time of Farooq Katwari, another great cricketer we had
Farooq
in the
Khatris.
valley. Farooq Katwari. Now he's settled in USA, New York. He's a big shot there. He's the chairman of Ethan Allen, which is the top 10 companies of the USA.
Oh,
Anyway, coming back to the cricket, he was the one who took the game very seriously, and with his help, Saf Saab allotted us a separate room, like you get a room in the counties where we would sit and chit chat and plan our game which we were going to play. It was a very neat room with a lot of facilities given to us. We were given a man with a stove and a kerosene oil those days, and who would prepare tea. And in another way, just to tell you that, cut short the story, we had all what we wanted. And then we took the game so seriously. We did not bother to attend the classes during those days because uh, we got assurance you'll get the attendance and all that. But
okay.
it was a big boost to us. and players took the game so seriously from 2 to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock even during the summer days, as late as 6 o'clock. 4 5 hours we used to sweat on the net, and that's one of the reasons that we could reach to the top of the Kashmir cricket. That cricket
Okay.
was something like our passion, and
That is true.
great people, great players we had produced in the SP College. Khurshid Rabu was there, then Pervez was there, then Ashok Rana was there, and San Singh was there, Veer Chopra was there, and we, in fact, in the Ranji Trophy team and in the inter-university team, the majority of players would come from SP College, and that was the kind of team we had, and we were unbeatable during our days. Nobody would like to play in those days with us. People used to tell the other, Mukhtar Kant was another head of the club, which was called Kashmir Jamkhana. He refused
Kashmir.
to play against us. And Saif Saab always wanted, because he was very fond of games, and he would
He
say,
was
"Why
principal.
Harish?"
He was
Yeah,
principal of
Saif Saab.
SP College.
Yeah, yeah.
A
Saifuddin Saab.
sportsman himself.
He himself was a sports person, and he used to play football. And in
Okay.
one of the match, we also called him to play. Though he played very 3 4 balls, we just he wanted to have a bat, have a go on the bat, or on a
Okay.
lighter note. But I just tell you, he was so fond of cricket. He used to have his own darbar right outside the cricket field, where all the staff would sit around him and watch the match. And in that, the bar of his eminent professors were there to join him, and Nazir Khan Sahib was there. What a personality he had, Khan Sahib. He used to look like a Britisher, smoking a pipe and watching a match with crossed legs and having a tea. It was a scene to be admired. It's such a great sport we used to get. And at the university level we top, at the inter colleges we top, and we played couple of matches in Jammu, couple of matches in Punjab. We've been wherever we went, we won those matches gracefully. And later on, um, in Ranji Trophy, we till then we had not performed well. But later on, when we started taking Ranji Trophy seriously, our players were there, and then we had some uh, very close matches, which was as good as winning matches, since our cricket authorities were never confident on our victories. They thought we will come back in just one or two matches, and maybe one match. The very first match we will not win and come back. But we started winning, we started defeating, we started performing. And those days was difficult time, no money, no, we had to arrange on our own. It was a very difficult time. We had a lot of constraints in going out, like we were having a no traveling arrangements and those things, not like these days when they go by the chartered flights, they stay in five-star hotels.
Okay.
And those these days, are different. Today is so much of professionalism. I admire at times and I wonder, even 10% of this kind of benefit we had during our days, we would have been performing thousand times better. And those days were those
Times
days
I
where
passed.
we were, yeah, these days, and we also had a seasonal kind of a very short season for the game. Just during summers we could do practice, and second, we had no turf there in Srinagar, which was a very difficult for us to. set our game outside the J&K state, because everywhere outside J&K state, everywhere there was a turf.
The tough.
And in J&K, we were playing on the matting. Matting was, you never knew what is under the matting. It is an even ground or not. There was some khadas around there, and the ball would pop up, and you get hurt. At times, we had those serious uh, punch on our in the game also. But
There were bunch of there were
part of the game, part of the game. Hmm. Yes.
There were the great. You had the great associates like Khurshid Drabu and
Yeah.
Rufi Ahmed, as well as the Mirza brothers. They were the
Yeah.
icons and the great personalities, great cricketers of their times. I have heard that
Very true.
even
Very true.
Rufi had knocked precipitated Bedi. I mean, every ball of Bedi went for sixer and
Yeah.
for that. Such was the magnanimous and magnificent game
Yeah.
of. Tell us
Yeah.
something about these people, the great
Yeah,
stars of your.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Roof Saab was a all-rounder. He was a very graceful cricketer, to be honest with you. He was number one, in my view, he was number one. As far as game was concerned, he was a terrific batsman and a very good bowler and a good fielder, all rounder. I must say he was a complete cricketer. And during one of the match, we played in Amar Singh Club against
Ranji
Delhi,
Trophy.
Ranji
Ranji Trophy.
Trophy. Yeah, we were playing that match, and Bedi had, a very kind of a ego in his heart. That I'll get him out within 3 balls,
He was a
maximum three
legend,
balls.
nah? International
He
player,
was yeah, and a national captain, Indian captain. He had
Indian
all the
captain.
reason
My
to
God.
to boast about it. But Rufy smashed him over the head for a six near that chinar tree or in the club.
My
And
God.
those ground, yeah, and Amar Singh Club ground, mind you, it is not a small ground, cricket ground. It's quite a
Huge.
major, quite a proper cricket ground. And he smashed 1 6. He was really okay. He
And
must have hit 1 6. I was on the other side. And second ball, he again smashed him outside the ground.
my God.
3 6s at a stretch, he was hammered. And he could not find a place to bowl Bedi. And
Bedi's
Rufi
ego
scored,
must have crumbled. His ego must have
crumbled,
crumbled and vanished
crumbled.
by Roofs up.
To be honest, Bedi, God has been very kind to him to have earned such a big name. But as a cricketer, he certainly was a good in his bowling, and he was a good player. But
International
outside the
player.
field, he was not like a cricketer. I must say. I don't want to stretch
Okay.
further, but anyways,
That's enough. That hint is
that's
enough.
enough.
Okay.
Yeah, cricketers have a different
Grace.
character altogether.
Grace.
They are simple,
Yes.
honest, grace. It's a very graceful game. You surrender with the one incident I remember while playing in Jammu, a Ranji Trophy match against Haryana State, and there Mr. Dr. Chaddar. No, after that he was a Dr. Chaddar. Chaddar was also Indian team selector also. Dr.
Okay.
Chaddar was leading that side, and I was also batting. I was daring 100. I was in 89 or 80. I was in between 89 or something, between 80 and 90. I got out. I was given out by a great umpire who is internationally recognized, our
Sarup.
Kashmiri brother, Surup Krishna.
Sarupnath.
Yes, you are right.
Sarup.
You, Surup
Tell us
Krishna,
about
he
that
is
great
a Lucknow
personality.
guy.
Yeah, tell us about that
Lucknow,
personality also. Yeah.
he is no more, died some time ago. He was a non-Kashmiri, speaking Kashmiri. He could not speak Kashmiri, but he was a very, very great character. As a nice human being, I was really fond of him. Chewing tobacco and moving like a, was quite
Okay.
hefty and wonderful person. But he gave me out.
But he gave
Outside, he
you out and
admitted. At 89, I was batting at 89. That would, if I had scored that 100, probably it would have
That
been the record
historic century. Historic
record for
century.
the anybody scoring 100 from J&K side. Dusab also reached close to 90s, but he also
90.
could not score 100. But I had a chance. One of our cricketer, Mirza brother, Doctor Farooq, Mahideen's
Dr.
younger
Farooq.
brother, he had scored 100. Yeah, he was also class bat, class bat, state
You were
bat,
supposed to be
middle the
very
ball.
aggressive batsman. You were supposed to be very aggressive batsman,
Yeah,
incisive.
yeah. I used to open in the team, and I was because of our so much of practice on the net, our judgment of the ball, the swing. As an opener, the swing, the judgment of the swing
Of
was
the
so
ball.
well we could read. It was
Okay.
like a seeing a football ball, and I would I can hit this a ball for a four. Why you are telling me? I used to tell Kochi. Kochi used to tell me. He was on the other end. He used to tell me, Harish, easy, easy, easy. Don't bash him. I would hit 2, 4, 3, 4 because I could see the ball well. Because when the
Oh,
ball swing in the air, if you can judge, you can flick the ball to a fast bowler. You can get runs.
it's all the
But
judgment.
he was right in his way. You see, ultimately in cricket, defense is very important. Well, even if you see the ball well, if you start hitting every ball, one ball can get you out. One mistake can get you out. So you have to defend your wicket. He was right. I appreciate his mind at that time. Not at that time, but I realized later on
You
that he
were
was
this
right. Defense is the major game.
major.
Yeah,
I mean, defense is the best offense.
major part of the batting. Major part of the batting. If you can defend your wicket, nobody can get you out. I remember once I asked Bobby Simpson during his visit to Srinagar. I asked him, what is the difference between Vishwanath and Gavaskar? Because they were the two greats those days playing for Indian Test. And he gave me a very reasonable and very true answer. He said, Vishwanath, once he gets going out, once he gets going, it's very difficult to stop him from scoring the runs because he slashes so well. We don't know how to place the field for him. And when Gavaskar gets on his head not to get out, it is impossible to get him out.
Get him out.
So,
That is
yeah,
preciseness, judgment, and
yeah,
preciseness.
Bobby Simpson himself was a great cricketer.
It
He
was
used
a
to play for Australia. He was a captain of a Australian team, a great cricketer.
coming coming
And
to
he
the
and
what is a bit intervention, a bit intervention here and
please,
there will do.
please.
So it's a
Yeah,
conversation.
with me, I can wave, I can swim all around. You see,
Oh,
because
because
there are
I
so
am very
many.
fond of. I am very fond of because coming to the domestic scene, because I know you
Yeah,
had inspired the
yeah,
generations of people. I have known
yeah,
no
yeah,
lot
yeah.
many number of people
I'm
who
so,
say that they
I,
played
I'm
cricket at SP College and all that. Your whole team, not you alone, your whole team.
my due apologies on that account. My due apologies, Joe, because
Yes,
I have so much in my. Those are memories. You see, you are right in a way that I have to focus on my what I'm
so,
asked. Anyway, carry on.
whatever I'm coming to the typical humor of Kashmiris. Kashmiris are known to they have a it's a level second humor. I mean,
Yeah,
it can if it taken literally,
typical Kashmiri,
typical
typical
Kashmiri
Kashmiri
humor.
style.
If taken
Uh,
literally, it would end up to amuse. But if taken metaphorically, you need to have that understanding and depth to understand Kashmiri humor. So I have heard there
yes.
was one in your domestic cricket. There was one Jaubil personality, and
Yeah,
whom
yeah, yeah.
people used to cry, and they Kashmiri our brothers and sisters. They used to cry, and they used to tell him, "Jawa mola mari agar ne four korot." When
That's right. That's right. That's
somebody
right.
told me in the
That
morning,
great.
I sat on the guffaws of laughter. I couldn't stop. I went for half an hour. They don't mean that his father died. They practically,
uh,
I mean, just warned him that you have somewhere down the line. And that poor man used to get he used to get the run out or something like that. Tell us something about
no,
him.
no. The problem with that guy was that he himself was a character, and he only had this one stroke in his kit, to sweep the ball, sweep every ball. and
Okay.
beyond that, he didn't know how to bat. But due to his character, he was he was in the team. He was also those days very few cricketers, as I said, were taking on this game, and he was serious in taking on this game. But he couldn't score because of his constraint with his batting. There was something wrong with his. He was not a good learner, but he was
Yeah, he was
good,
not a good.
dedicated cricketer. But not a good bat, but he was a dedicated cricketer. He was good in fielding, good in bowling somewhere. So that's how he was survived. But people would
And
always praise
there is another joke. Sun Singh, about Sun Singh, cricketer Sun Singh. They used to say, I've heard that there was a joke that Sun Singh, सरदार जी अब क्या बैट पहनना है, पैड पहनना है, अभी तो वापस आना है. I don't know. You can tell about Sun Singh as a cricketer and all this
No, no,
thing.
no. That is a wrong notion. Ranjan Singh was a great player.
Okay.
He has scored many good runs for the SP College. I don't know. His opponents have said this rumor. Yes, in Ranji Trophy, probably he did not do as well as he did in his inter universities and in college cricket. That is true. That may be the reason for those his opponents. But as a cricketer, he was a very graceful. That's his background was from a very low profile. Very very low profile. He had no parents. He lost during. He was just 1 year or 2 years old. From he migrated from Pakistan, and he was put in a Shalimar school, orphan school,
Okay.
and we saw him in school cricket when we played a match against this Shalimar school. He was a state bat, good bat. We picked him up for our SP College team. We brought him into SP College, and we approached to Saab Saab to give some relief to this cricketer. He is a very gentleman and he's a good cricketer. And Saab Saab, as usual, he accepted our request, and he gave him a part-time job as an assistant librarian in SB College,
Great.
where he would be
Great.
given 300, 400 rupees to meet his immediate expenses. And he, to be honest, whatever you have heard, joke, yes, people make jokes even on me. People jokes on Khurshid. Cricket is a game where people would make
The
sarcastic
joke making
remarks.
is part of Kashmiri psych. I mean, they make jokes
Yeah,
for everyone, in their
yeah,
family.
yeah, yeah.
So,
This everybody is known like that. Kuyum was called Chana, and
Koim Chana,
there was
yes,
another
I've heard
cricket.
about
There was another cricketer. He had a little some twist in his ear. He was called Concertu. Like
Concerto.
people, people concert.
They have
And
this
when I
nickname.
was nicknamed, and people used to call me Harish, Chersi. I used to smoke those days.
You were a
Khurshid and me,
smoker.
we used to. Yeah, I was a chain smoker. We both were. You see, cricket invites you to go for this bad habit. Once you get out, you have to sit outside for 2 days, 1 day, without. And what you do? Either you test players normally play three patti, patti, and all those. Cricketers have funny habits. But I have given up smoking long back
One
during
thing I would
my.
like to say today. I mean, probably you may be shying to not to disclose it, but since it's a very informally formal show, Barisa, I would like to say that you were a very brilliant physics student and you loved physics, laboratory, and physics really fascinated
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
What happened that
yeah.
after taking physics, you had to shift your entire thing and went to the art side? There must be a story behind it, and some great professor was there,
From
and
where
you
do
broke.
I'm sure you are a very clever man. I don't know from where you get all these information. These I wonder. I have almost forgotten that story. I
Yusuf
wonder.
Jadgar
I
Professor
really
Saab is a
admire.
great eminent professor of his
Yeah,
times, and you
he a
slightly
great
thought that
professor.
you thought that is an outsider. You slightly talked in a very lighter vein with him. Something
Yeah,
like that happened.
because
Please let us know.
his. We were properly dressed up when we joined college for the very first day. We were very conscious of looking smart after coming out of school, where you were very, where you all the time had to wear school dress like khaki knicker and blue sky blue shirt, that and properly shoes polished and everything. And when we got freedom, passing out from school, going to the college, we had no compulsion to wear any dress like we would wear, but still very smart dress. We were by nature very smartly dressed up all the time, white
Okay.
pant, white shirt with properly shoes and all that. All boys, in fact, every student. And on the very first day, the professor Sahab had entered. The moment he entered, I was there on the counter side, and I thought somebody, not the professor one, I thought some lower staff guy, must have entered. I said, wow, ये क्यों चुप कर रहा है? मुझे पता ही थी क्या चुका था. I held it here and get out. Somebody shouted, he's HOD of physics.
My goodness.
My God, I jumped out of the classroom, and from that day onward, I never went to the physics. I changed my
Okay.
subject and I went to arts. And arts suited me also because physics was time consuming and I could not have done well in physics. So I took political science, though I was never interested in politics, but I had to take some subjects, economics and political science. History I was never interested, and that's how that was a. But I admire your this in kind of information you collected about me.
But
A
sir,
great
this is
man
our
you are.
job. This is our
Anyway,
job. We have to research about the great gentlemen, about their
yeah,
lives.
but these things should be forgotten because it's not a good thing to remember.
I mean,
It
these
was
things happen with memory. I mean, they are in a way. I think they are educative in their
everybody.
ways.
He was known. He was known not to properly shabby dress, very loose burshat and pants, and
He
unlike
must have been like
professors,
George
he
Bernard
had
Shaw.
a
Like George Bernard Shaw. George Bernard Shaw used to. He
yeah,
never used to
yes.
wear
Bernard Shaw used shabby dress, and
shabby
so
dresses
he,
and
they take it very casually. Like
uh,
most I have never seen even in our school time teachers would be properly dressed up. Our Ganjusa was properly dressed up in DAV school. Our Somnaji was dressed up very nicely. Everybody, even teachers, you see, they are
stylish,
the
stylish.
trendsetters. If they don't dress up well, yeah, if they don't dress up well, what will impact the students will have on? It is important. It's rather necessary for them to be properly dressed up. But seeing there, I thought it's like but it is a bad taste. I had to change. Good, it was in destiny,
It
but
was a destiny. It
I have a
happened. You
great
were right. It
respect
was
for.
not planned.
I never faced him during my college time. Wherever he used, I would go from the other side. If he and,
You were in
and
SP College, and SP College, you were in your teens, and a teen is the best time. You are just blooming like flowers, and there is an aspiration, the life, and everything. And you have your royalty at your back, your style at your back. And then just one wall between, there is a women college. So, I mean,
yeah,
didn't these songs ever inspire you? The love is in the air, something like that. It happens in the teens, even if there is no love, but people just evolve in between. And then there is a, but yes, they had a very, very strong head. That was Mahmooda ji.
yeah,
Mahmooda ji considered to be
Mahmoud,
one of the very stout administrator.
strong
Tell us
administrator,
something
strong
about
administrator.
you playing near that wall, and what happened with Mahmooda ji. There is some incident happened in those days
How did you
that
say you didn't doing? You have done so much of research. I wonder at.
these are
You
all
see, there
lucid
was a
stories.
wall. There was a wall
Okay.
on the tennis court side, not on the main cricket ground side. The common wall between the
Yeah, tennis
tennis
court
court
side. Yeah,
side and the
tennis
library
court.
of SP College and the tennis court. Sahib suggested us to shift our net practice on the tennis court side. That was enough ground for the net practice because they wanted to prepare the turf out there. The main, they proposed to have a Ranji Trophy match in SP College. For a few days, we were asked to shift our net practice to tennis court side, and there was a in between a wall. Sometimes the ball would go to their cross
Natural,
the
it's natural.
ball and go to their. It was dangerous also. Girls were
It could hit anyone.
walking
Could hit
around
anyone.
their side on their side. It could hit their head and all that. Probably, I don't know the background. We were told by Saf Saab that you are invited by you are asked to come in the morning to Women College by Miss Mahmooda ji. You all
Oh,
cricketers
nice.
have to. So we got started shivering because we
ਤੁਸੀਂ
had a
ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਅਸੀਂ
great.
ਕੀਤਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਹੈ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਸੂਰ ਕੀ ਹੈ
No, but honestly speaking, uh, we were fearless people, but to be honest, we had great regard for women, for the girls, for ladies.
that was in
We were
Kashmir
not that
as a
sort.
culture.
We were not that. People would come from outside for loferbazi when they would walk around the residency road
Well,
during
that
that
is
closing
Romeos are all over the
during
world.
closing hours of the women college. People would roam around the college and boys would. That was not our cup of tea. We would hardly come out of the college after 6 o'clock in the evening, and we had almost no. When we
Well, your own.
were called by Miss Mahmooda ji for the to visit them, we went there and we saw different atmosphere altogether. She was so soft spoken.
Oh
We
my
were
God.
expecting something different. We thought she would probably be scold us, and but all she was altogether what we thought different. She was like mother-like figure. She asked to sit down, have a breakfast, and a lavish breakfast was given to us,
Well,
served to us like a dalia, milk, and whatnot, and eggs. We thoroughly enjoyed that trip, but it learned a lesson also. And we told Safsa we are not going to practice on that side anymore. And we came back to the
because you were
original
seriously into
side.
cricket, you were seriously into the business. Your entire sadhana was
Yeah,
that of cricket. You wanted to do cricket and all.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Mehbooba ji also
Cricket was
became
no doubt my pet. Yeah,
Mehbooba
we
ji
made
also
made our
became.
president of we made our president of J&K Cricket Association.
Arey, that's wonderful.
That was
That's
to dislodge, yeah, another to dislodge a powerful person. To We have to find another strong person. That's how we went to Mahmoodaji. Not me, but the people who took this step. They thought of going to Mahmoodaji at that point because she was a very powerful lady. During Sadiq Saab's time, she
Sadiq
was very
Saab's time, she
powerful,
was
and
one
we
of the
thought, yeah.
personality. And
So we
we have
we
heard,
thought of,
Bari Saab, I have heard that you had a very good relationship with Khurshid Rabu, and Khurshid's sister used to tie rakhis on you. Tell us about this bonhomie,
yeah, yeah.
this harmony in relationship of those times. People were good all
Yeah,
along.
yeah, 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 yeah.
There was no
The
communal
Abu Saab
hatred,
Khurshid.
something like that.
No, 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 not at all. That was not heard during our days. It is a shame. It is a
Shame,
shame
really.
to see what is happening these days. Those days were so peaceful. We hardly people would come. The barats would come at 2 o'clock in the night. I remember Nigat's marriage. But Shafi Saab, she is married to Nigat, to remind you. She's married to
IS
Shafi
officer,
Pandit Saab,
very great
and yeah,
gentleman, wonderful,
a great noble person. I tell you,
noble
first IAS
personality,
officer of noble personality. He
very
served
soft,
in at a
very
very high
human, very
position,
humble.
soft and a very good administrator. And
And this is
I recall those that night we had to wait till 2 o'clock for the bhata. We were feeling hungry, and the barat would come at 2 o'clock, and it was so peaceful during those days. And it was not that kind of what we see these days. You can't move out at after 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. But anyway, that's a different part of the story. I hope people will understand, bring back the normalcy and peace in Srinagar. We
it's a
sincerely
vicious.
hope. People internally inside their heart they have nothing. It's only misled by a few radicals. Otherwise, there's nothing much serious in between that any community, whatever they believe.
Kashmiris
I
basically
have
are
very
fun-loving people. They are generally all
fun loving
Kashmiri
people.
Hindus, Muslims, Khatris. They are
Grabur,
fun-loving
for
people.
example, Yeah, for example, yeah, like you mentioned Drabu Saab. He was such a great person. Uh, they live near that flood channel, Gokche Bagh. I used to remember Mrs. Drabu, Kushi's mother used to call me in the evening one day earlier, Sunday or Saturday. Hari subah khane subah aana. Okay, Ammi, I'll come. I used to call her Ammi because Khushi and our
Mother,
we had a great tie-up, family relation. His sisters had tied, of course, and her cousin also was there. Uh, Nasrina, now she's married to Mattu Saab. They are settled in USA. They had tied me the Rakhi. They were Muh Boli Ben, and I had great regards. I had no real sister, to be
that is
honest
the
with you,
level of
and I
harmony
had
we have.
given them the full respect. Asmat, then the Nigat and Nasin used to be sober, and Asmat used to be a little naughty, and a great girl, I tell you, great sister, I tell you, married to Shokatji, and great family, great
You,
family.
Bari
I've
sir, tell
got
us about.
great regards for the family.
Thank you. It was great to hear to that. I mean, it is very balming and nourishing. These those stories are beautiful. They are really inspiring, nourishing, and
Yeah, good,
balming.
no, very peaceful, very peaceful.
I
We
mean,
had a very
let
pleasant moments of those peaceful moments. Yeah, please carry on.
let's know something about the city culture, because I heard that Girdari Lal, this Girdari Tiku, there was a team before this professional team came in. There
Yeah,
was
yeah,
a team in the Rainawari Cricket Club, and
yeah.
not many
RCC,
people who are
RCC
not
cricket.
professionals, but they played. They
Actually,
gave their,
cricket
yeah, yeah,
Actually,
please.
cricket was given by the Ranawadi Kashmiri Pandits. They started this game. This is Ranawadi Cricket Club by
Yeah,
Badris and Ranas and those. They were the pioneers of cricket in Kashmir. They started Kashmir from there. We took to a different level from there. We
you made it
went SP
professional.
College. Yeah, well, we were not that kind of. We never demanded any money like that. We were not so professional as today. We find you give us this much money. Like Bedi used to say, I would not travel without a chartered flight. I would not stay in any other hotel than five-star hotel. They used to dictate terms, whereas we used
But
to
I,
travel in the
yeah,
ordinary class and
People like
our
Ajit Wadekar,
profession.
I've seen lot many gentle people. Ajit Wadekar, I mean others. They were also very. They lived a very humble and simple life. Even in test cricketers,
Yeah,
those times. In those times, I'm talking about.
Chandu Borde was a great cricketer. Chandu Borde and Paulie Umrigar were the senior cricketers. They had a very limited amount to travel around, and their accountant would sanction the money to these great cricketers. Whereas later on, the real professionalism in cricket has come. Kapil Dev started this from Kapil Dev's time. The professionalism has creeped into this game, and
From
today
Kapil.
every parent would love their ward to become a cricketer because they find it's a very lucrative game. That's how the cricket has grown. Cricket has become the religion in our country. Everybody see earlier cricket commentary used to be so pleasure to hear. These days
Yeah,
people are
Lala
these
Amarnath
and
and
since
others.
Lala, since this commentary started in Hindi, you would find even the rickshawala was having a transition those days and listening commentary.
It was
Wouldn't
beautiful.
understand what cricket is. Cricket is a war. It's a test game. Test matches are the real cricket. Where you learn, you plan your strategy. You have enough time. Once you are beaten in first inning, second inning, you plan how to come back in the game. It is a game of strategy. It is a game of planning. It's a game of all grace in this game. To cut short, all grace in this game. It's not like 1 hour game, football or like hockey. Hockey and football are nice to watch, but cricket you would love to play.
Hey,
Cricket is
well,
a game where everybody would love to play. Whereas hockey and football, you would not love to play because it's such a fast, you will breathe out within seconds.
You had become the very prestigious selector of the Leap Trophy, and
Yeah,
you have also
it
played
happened. It
national level
happened.
universities also. Tell us about a bit about that reminiscence about those things. We will slowly,
Well,
gradually move to other areas.
selection committee. You see, selection of the Leap Trophy was just like during summer, during winter, selection committee would sit in Frosha Kotla under the supervision of Prakash Mehra. Used to be he used to be called Shaji. He was the
Prakash
main
Mehra.
man, dominant man. Shaji, yeah, Shaji would take a sit in the meeting and call the selectors of all the states. It was on a representation basis. The representatives of all the teams would come and join as a selectors of the to select the team for the Dilip Trophy. Team from the North Zone to for the
North Zone
Dilip
team.
Trophy.
Sorry.
North Zone team. So North Zone is comprised of different states, and uh, those days during our time, we in our north state side we had two other teams like railways and services. They had included those two teams were included in our zone, north zone. So players coming out from those teams would represent north zone, including railways and services in Dilip Trophy. Dilip Trophy would be a very prestigious trophy where the states would play against each other and the winner would get the Dilip Trophy. The finalist would get. And the North
Very
Zone
nice.
team was to be selected, and for I was I was asked by Pajnuji. I had received a call on Pajnuji called me from Srinagar. Harishji, please go and attend there the meeting. We have to represent there. Please go and see Roop Saab and Barjinder are Roop Saab and two people from our state are selected in that team. I said okay. I went there and I realized uh, the team, Bedi was a national captain. What happens during the selection committee? They select the team members. Every state member speaks for his players to be included in the Dilip Trophy in the team, state team, in the north for the northern team. And everybody would speak, and I was also speaking for Roof and Mahideen and Barjinder from Jammu, since they had performed very well during that year. And I was giving all reasons for their selection, and nobody would give any ear to my request. Nobody was listening to me out there. Then I put my foot down. I said, "Nothing doing. I am stepping out, Mr. Shaji. You have already made up your mind, selected your team." You see, at that time, I have forgot to mention after selecting, first we select that committee selects the captain, and Bedi was the automatic choice because since he was the Indian captain, so he joins the selection committee. He doesn't have the vote to when there is a tie between the two players. He doesn't have the vote, but he can be asked for his opinion to the and they had to select 16 members team for that. They reached to the 14 players and Roof was not there. Then I said, nothing doing. I'm stepping out. You are considering our team to be as underdogs, and you are not giving any importance to the performance of their game. Roof had hit 4 sixes in 1 hour to Mr. Bedi. He's sitting right across the table. Ask him, Mr. Bedi, what is your opinion? Sir, I have a very different opinion, Bedi said. You see, if I need 2 runs for the victory and Rufi has to bat, I will not expect those 2 runs. Bluntly, he
Nice.
said.
Such a great
I said,
player
there
and
you go.
denigration.
Huh? Such. because he got internally hurt since he was hammered there in Amar Singh Club.
He was hammered
He
and he was
probably
sweated by roof.
maybe that kind of a thing. And the tragedy was that's why I have a saying outside the game, outside the field, is a different man. And when Roof was included on my this warning, when I was about to leave, I said I'll go to the press and tell everything about you. And then they, no, 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 you sit down, sit down, sit down. He is already in our mind. He's already there in the 16. Show me that. And
Right,
after
sir.
the selection, Rufi went there in the team to Calcutta, and he was not included there in the side, in the first 11. He was kept as a reserve player.
Okay.
I never followed the later on. My job was done that he was included in the 16. And later
Yes.
on, after some time, maybe after a year, I met Rufi. Rufi was not happy with my thing. Yeah, you were the one, you opposed me there in the meeting. I said,
My
who told
goodness.
you? I said, Bidhi told me there.
Bedi
I
sahab.
said,
Oh, oh.
my goodness, I never expect such a stupid remarks from a Sikh
Such a great personality.
Sardar,
Such a
and that too,
renowned.
such a great legend cricketer. God
My
gave him more
goodness.
success in the field, but such a stupid.
That is
Because this is a
fickleness.
kind of. I may not be as good cricketer as the internationally known, but they have
Uh,
opportunities. It's not
Marisa,
like that.
we'll
And
move
I,
forward quickly now because we have other
please,
areas also to
please,
cover.
please. I just
Before we
wanted to give you a
Sir,
background.
it's a wonderful. I mean, it's a wonderful experience. We'll do another session with you, sir, because you are a treasure. You have so many stories and narrations, and these narrations, Shitalath conversation is
Thank you,
basically built on these purposes. That these narrations should reach to others.
thank you.
Otherwise, nobody will know about them. Sir, actually,
Yeah.
before going, I would like to say your daughter is a international skater, and she was selected for the Olympics. Going on
Not
the,
international. She was selected.
she was selected.
Yeah.
Okay,
Vandana,
she was a very good.
yeah, my
She, your daughter, she was, yes, please continue.
you see, as my interest was the background was I was always interested in sports. My entire the same way I wanted my all kids. I have four kids, three daughters and one son,
Okay.
and I wanted them to accelerate in the any game. They were out there to learn, and the best game for the girls was to get into swimming or whatever is available there. And swimming, they were satisfied because we had a family card of from Broadway, Amlas. They would go and
Amlas.
do swimming during the summertime. And yeah, and they had a beautiful swimming pool there in the Broadway.
What were the rules?
There we didn't have many swimming pools there in Srinagar except one Bisco school had. Sorry, another was in Broadway. So Broadway, they would go and be a good swimmer. They were a good swimmer. And during winters, what they would do, I said, go to the skiing. Kulmarg, some courses going on. So all my three daughters, including my son, who was just in class two, he too also went and stayed there during winter days for 15 days, 2 weeks, and learned snow skiing. And Vanna was my eldest daughter was very good in. They learned so much, so well, so much. She mastered her skiing so well. She was selected for the net to represent national team to
My goodness.
represent in Tokyo. Those days, yeah, but all misfortune all happened in those days. We had to migrate to
Okay.
outside Srinagar, and that did not happen.
That you
But
did.
she reached at that level. I was so proud of her. And today she settled, and she also, my kids also had very good schooling from Presentation Convent, one of the best schools for girls,
Yeah,
I
that was
must
the
say.
best.
Presentation Convent and the Burnhall School where my son would go.
Bernal
Both
was
were
also.
so good. They had nuns, they had fathers, they had lovely teachers. They have so much of discipline in their school. And yeah, Presentation Convent was teachers from the high, from the army officers would be there, from the local good families. Teachers were also Kashmiri Pandits, Muslims, all good families with good academic record were there, and
Kashmir,
mother.
otherwise, even Presentation Convent is one of the premier institution, but even other
Yeah,
institutions in
if
Kashmir,
you
the
ask me,
teachers,
if you ask,
they are the best teachers. Kashmiri,
no teachers,
even this,
yeah,
all the teachers.
yeah. If you ask me, teachers in the valley were very dedicated. Just take our the example of Khalsa School, DAV School, Mission School,
National High
Khalsa,
School.
yeah, this SV School, National High School, all schools. They were performing so well because their standard teachers were so good. Teachers would
They were
take seriously.
most mostly from the KP community. They were. Acha, Barisa will move
Yeah,
slightly ahead. Yeah, now I would just one lighter humor way. I would like to put it this way: you went to America and you came
you
back from
already.
America.
Uh,
You went to America, you came back from America,
yeah, yeah.
and then you wanted because you couldn't touch the cricket, and now you wanted to play this golf. And what made you to leave this golf?
Uh,
You could have
you
lived with
see,
the golf for
no, it's a very funny. Yeah, yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. It was not only the golf part. You see, idea
yeah.
was 73. I got married. I 72. I came back from USA. 71, 72. I think my age is little. I have to catch up with my
Doesn't matter. Doesn't
memories
matter.
also. Immediately, maybe after 1 year after marriage, my wife gave me ultimatum. Either
Okay.
you carry on with your this cricket or you carry on with your life partner. What do you mean? No, if you want to play cricket, carry on with the cricket, and you now have started playing golf. Sorry, if you want to play that, carry on. Then you lose that playing matches with me, and forget that. I said, my good God, you are putting up such a rider on me. I better give up cricket because that will last for a 1 year, 2 year maximum. But with you, I have to play on innings till my end of my life. That was a little.
That was a
So
wise
and I
decision.
gave
Wise.
up.
Decision. You took a wise
Very
decision.
what could else? What else I could do? Yeah, living my life with whom I have to play all along my life, and then play cricket. And after all, how long you can play cricket? How you can't become a commentator? You can't become a for all the time. Life partner is a life
You tell
partner.
me.
That was a
Let's now come out of this cricket part of your personality, your work, your illustrious service to the cricket of Kashmir and professional cricket, the creation of professional cricket. We can go on and on, but we have the time constraints, the program
yeah.
scope of the
With so
program.
many players I can mention. My team, my college team, we had so many good players like V Chopra, Tikku, and Jogi, and so many players were there in my team, and they all performed very well. They all are legend. Ashok Rana was there. He was a great in swinger. I tell you, he used to float the ball in the air. Can you believe it?
Good.
If big players
Oh,
like Delhi players would get out, they were scared of his bowling. Akash Lal, a great cricketer, was scared of his bowling
Kashmir.
because his ball was floating in the air. He was a great in
Right.
swinger. He would float the ball in the air. We had a very good team. Chalo, let's.
That,
Those are
that was a
very sweet memories.
great, delightful, spectacular, voyage
When
and
when we
odyssey.
when we meet one to one, we talk at length about.
Yeah.
I can talk about for the days together.
We can continue one more program on this, and I would like to say now.
Sure,
Let me
sure.
like to shift towards your childhood. Uh, I have heard that you are one of the topmost royal families, business families of Mirpur, and you are in
Yes,
47. You had to migrate, and we already had this
yes,
culture, as I said in my opening remark, that Maharajganj was already there, and there were Khatri families
yes,
like Sagars, Chopras. They were already here. And
yes.
tell me about those times, a bit about your past, your times in Mirpur, and then your childhood in Kashmir.
You see, Mirpur, as told by my father, because I was in my mother's lap, I was just 2 years old.
Okay,
I was not much to tell you what I have seen there, but what I heard from my parents, what my father used to tell me how he migrated from Mirpur to from Mirpur when the uh, Mirpur he had to migrate from Mirpur to Jammu first Jammu, and from Jammu to Delhi, and from Delhi to back to Srinagar. It's a long story, but to cut short the story, uh, we had a branch in Maharajganj. We had a branch in uh, Srinagar. The route was used to be that route via Baramulla side route via Mirpur used to have that road. What road is that called? Great road.
Muzaffarpur.
Yeah,
GT road.
that road.
GT.
No, no, no,
GT
no,
road.
no, no, not GT. It is a different road. This connection of Jammu was not there. That used to be the connection. That Murray side was the connection. That used to be Mirpur used to be a mandi to feed the Srinagar market.
Okay.
You get my point?
Yeah, yeah,
Mirpur
understood.
was the mandi. Mirpur was the mandi. Everything, whatever would come to Srinagar was routed through Mirpur. So Mirpur was a great mandi, as my father used to tell, and all namak, iron, cloth, kerosene oil, everything would come from Mirpur side on the camels and those things earlier days. So Mirpur used to be my family's head office, and uh, they had a branch in Maharajganj. They had a branch in Harish Street also. Those two shops, that building where Ganna Coal is there, that building was constructed by my grandfather. That across that behind there is a Rani ka Mandir or something mandir. That guest house was two three bedroom set was there. That was also constructed by my grandfather. So, but we after from Delhi when we came to Srinagar, those flats were occupied, and the Maharajganj property was also grabbed by one of our relations. They also did not allow us to stay there.
Oh,
Then my father had to take rented accommodation at Shergadi Road near Jahangir Hotel. So we stayed and started business at Harish Estate with the agency of ICI, Imperial Chemical Industry used to be called ICI for dyes. Dyes had a great scope in Srinagar, and it was consumed by the silk factory. Silk factory was a good factory, and Karanagar was also a woolen mill. It was also consumed there. Dyes and chemical and lot of things were used, and the dyes were very good in supplying their material to the carpet weavers. So dyes had a very good scope, and my father took
significant role.
that agency,
Significant role.
yeah, ICI agency, yeah. And later on, that line started died in the sense that cheap material started coming from Amritsar. Those days, dyes were the main business, our main business. My father somehow was not happy with that kind of a trade. Then he picked up a friend of his had taken a company called Lapitit, Italian company. He had taken a distribution for the entire country. He was looking for the stockist. He was his classmate in Lahore or somewhere. I don't know. So
Okay.
he gave that agency of medicine to him. And my father said, I have dealt with everything but not medicine. Well, how come you are giving me? He said, you have to do nothing. Just keep a almara there, put some two cabinets for the medicine, and rest you can keep your account books for the accounts and all that. Nothing much more. And my man would come, promote the drugs to the doctors, and the products will start moving. That was the second alternative line my father started. And when the Ranbaxy uh, gave up, broke the connection with Lapitate company, that Italian company, and started be on their own, then the company started growing. And we grew with the company, yeah, Ranbaxy Laboratories. and so we became one of the leading dealers of the pharmaceutical. I was in school those days, and my father was alone. I had to help him while going to school, and I would go for the collection, and I would go to the Maharajganj market, see those dyers, uh, suppliers of the dyes also to them. Go to the silk factory also to see what best I can sell to them. Go to the woolen mill also, Karnagar, and that has given me a lot of experience. I used to go on bike, cycles was the luxurious savari those days. Nobody had cars and scooters those days. I used to cover that distance only on a bike, Robin Hood bike.
Wow.
And yeah, sorry. So that started growing, and then when then the dye business started on the decline. I started concentrating only on a pharmaceutical trade.
Pharma
My father
business.
was getting old also, and then I had to take the line seriously, and that's how I got into. And various other companies started approaching me. We were the only two distributors in our side on the Amira Gadar side. One was ours, another was Badidas Kedarnath. Badidas Kedarnath
Hmm.
also had a very leading companies. They were distributor for various other lines, Eveready and all those general items also, cosmetic items also. But we were totally pharmaceutical. And I had a concept of growing business. I had grown to such an extent. I bought a mini Matador. You know Matador, small
Matador, yeah.
yeah, delivery van kind of a thing.
Delivery van.
That I was the first. Yeah, I was the first one to buy, and that give that concept to the pharmaceutical business. Would carry the entire products, entire range in my van, carry accountant with me, drive myself, go to the markets of Sopar, Baramulla, Kupwara, Tregam, the farthest
Trega.
border, would Tregam,
Traga.
further from the Kupwara, Tregam, farther from the Kupwara, Handwara, Kupwara, Baramulla, one round. I would drive all that with the medicine, like door to door. Because the company was a small company and Bexy was a small company and would sell, and they would prefer the medicine at their door. They would pay me cash, and I started getting flow of the money, started getting the business, and I was followed by later on so many distributors and various
Oh,
other business good practices, genuine and honest practices. I started introducing in the sale of pharmaceutical business. I was like bonus I used to give. I would ask the companies to give me the maximum benefit. I would pass on in a hamper kind of a thing. Like the company would give me 1 box free on a particular product. On 10 boxes, I would convert into hampers, like heaters, like presses, like HMT watches. Those days, HMT had a factory there in Srinagar.
yeah.
I would buy them in
Chakri was a
wholesale.
factory.
Uh, yeah. So those were the tactics I used to boost up the sale of a pharmaceutical and get established in myself in Valley. I was known there by so many all over Sonam, Kishtwar, Ladakh. I would go to those places. I had the energy to visit and got the
Yeah.
recognition and got the reward also. Because they
Hmm.
would prefer medicine. Who would go from Kupwara, come to Kashmir, place the order, carry the products to their place, pay money here in cash, and there I would give them the product there and get the collect the cash from there only, and
My
that's how I
goodness. I mean,
got a
that
name.
was
And
something very, you crisscrossed, you employed all your hard
yeah,
work, intelligence, innovation,
hard work.
and the blessings of your parents and the structural, the
But
understanding of the business you
I
need
would,
from your parents.
yeah, I
That was
would
great.
also go to the doctors to promote my medicines. I would consider the companies to be as my own company. That's how I was so successful.
Bari sir,
I used to go to
Bari sir,
Dr. Ali Jan.
I would like to say, Babu Sahib, I would like to say that I sometimes wonder what would have been the economy of Kashmir if Punjabi Khatri businessmen would not have been there. I mean, you see from the oldest Taki of Kashmir, Palladium, Anand Bhai, he was created and established by Anand Bhai. Then Bals created the Regal and another cinema hall. And then Broadway was by
Amresh.
Amresh Hall, and Broadway was by this Amla Saab. And then you see from dry cleaner up to the halwai shop, up to the kerosene selling, up to the the petrol pumps and the hotels and whatnot. You cannot imagine. I have heard about three S's in those times because it was as I gave the opening note in this discourse and this show that our economy had crumbled. People had crumbled over these foreign rules, and it was very atrocious one. And economy had also crumbled. And our economy, there's a saying, there's a joke about that. Economy was that of three S's. One was Shalgam, Shali, Shalgam, Shali, and Sag. इन तीनों में से कुछ भी हिल जाए, if one of the pillar goes away, the economy goes and it is all shattered. So all these people, the pioneers were the Khatris. You built such. Tell us something about the role of Punjabi Khatris in business in a brief note, in a brief way. You can convey and communicate many things which I don't know, which at least audience want to know.
You are right. We had very little avenues out there. Little, like you said, 3S. You had. True. There certain due to certain reasons we were depending only on our these three items only because road would get blocked. We had to depend for everything from milk to kerosene to everything from outside Srinagar, outside the valley. We had nothing of our own to depend on to feed that. Milk we would get from outside. Even the small items like batteries, we had a very little power there problem. We had to get kerosene from outside. We had to get cloth from outside. We had to get everything from outside. And that's how the Khatris came in between. As you rightly said, we had the links outside the valley. And
Okay.
outside the valley would mean they would depend more on the business community, which was handled by the Khatris only. As you know, the Khatris were into the trade mainly in the valley because they were never a competitor to Kashmiri Pandits as far as the desk job is concerned or the government jobs are concerned. We were never after those kind of services like bank or you would hardly find any Khatris in the service side like banks or like government jobs. Maybe a few doctors you would find, but mainly business Khatris were the playing the dominant role. Some Amritsari guy, he had to arrange a few tankers for the milk. He would bring the milk, and all the local seller of the milk would rush to him and get the milk and further supply. That's how the chain started. Amul butter used to come from outside. There's some guy from the Maharaja Bazaar. There was some guy who was a dealer of Amul. Some Lothra was there who was Lothras were the dealer of various items like milk, like detergent, like so many everything.
All the
Maharajganj
business trade,
and all the business. That's how it was handled by the Punjabis, Khatris. They
Punjabi
had
Khatris.
some relations outside. They would always be prepared to supply because they would find their extended arms in Srinagar. All those manufacturers outside the valley would see in Punjabis as extended hands to cater the valley. That's how the sport work came from the and in return the um, valley had all the even andas, eggs, chickens, everything would come from outside, and
From pin to
their
the ship.
involvement, yeah, yeah,
Every
and then
commodity, every
how the
consumable commodity, and other
every
commodities,
every every consumer commodity.
even construction
You see what?
business and property.
Yeah, construction business. There used to be Kashmir Metal Mart, Chandok family. They lived in Baziri Bagh and very dominant. They used to arrange a lot of construction material like sheets, galvanized sheets, like nails, like iron nails, like chain, everything, all material. They would, and then
all
the
these businesses
furnishing
like
side also. The coal is,
tourism and
yeah.
fishery, they came
Please
on
go ahead.
later, because later when they because your time was the most hard time. You have to take this valley from this
Yeah,
deep slumber, deep chill and
yeah,
slumber, into ushering into a wonderful
yeah,
era, and wonderful era of prosperity and trade.
yeah.
So that's a that's a great
That's true.
contribution. Sir, before saying that, I would like to say that we had the great celebrities from Kashmir who are from the Kashmiri Punjabi Khatri families. Balraj Sani, the maestro, the
Yeah,
method
he,
actor, great
yeah.
actor, and Ramanand Sagar
They had
and
it. He,
Vinod Chopra. Yeah,
yeah, Chopra. Yeah, Sagar was a Takya Kalam. He was actually a Chopra. He was son of
Chopra is there.
Chopra Saab. He was an insurance man. He was an insurance officer, his father. He had two wives. Raman Sagar was from his first wife. And Veer Chopra and Vidhu Vinod Chopra and his sister, they were from the second wife.
They were half brothers
So
to Ramanand
they
Sagar,
were,
half brothers,
yeah,
half brothers.
Ramanand Sagar. They started calling themselves to be Sagars, but background is what I am telling you, son of Chopras. And Ramanand Sagar had a great uh, knowledge about the Ramayana. He used to take as a role in the Ramayana as a Hanuman. He would become a Hanuman in that Ram Lila. Athojan,
Mhm.
there used to be a Ram Lila in that, not Athojan, in the Lal Chowk. There
शिवालिक
used to be a,
शिवालिक नहीं वहाँ पे
no,
हनुमान.
no, Hindu temple. I'm forgetting the name. There used to be a Ram Lila in that, and Ram Lila, में Ramanand Sagar used to take a very active role as a Hanuman or Ramlila उनके mind में रटा हुआ था, That's how he produced the Ramayana.
Okay,
Most
it was
popular, director, great director, and
and Vidhu
and
Vinod Chopra, even
Mahabharata,
Vidhu.
Ramayana.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Please continue.
those days, when Ramayana would come on TV, everywhere in India, most probably the most northern east side, Punjab, Haryana, Srinagar, Jammu, the road would be deserted. Just a curfew has been there. People would sit close to the TV, watch Ramayana. It was such an interesting
Vidhu Vinod
serial.
Chopra is also a genius. He's a
And
genius. His movies are, I mean, they're super duper hit.
Vidhu
He's
Vinod
a
Chopra.
very brilliant man. Very
Yeah,
brilliant man. A legend.
yeah,
Another legend.
yeah. Vidhu Vinod Chopra. Yeah, yeah. Vidhu Vinod Chopra is a great. He also wanted to play cricket with us. He also wanted to become a cricketer, but good that he
Okay.
did not join cricket.
He became
He
the
would have been a great
celebrity.
flop. Yeah, celebrity, destiny, destiny. Great
I mean,
director, Vidhu Vinod Chopra. And
tell
Virendra
this.
Chopra was also not behind. He was a great cricketer also, Chopra.
Virendra
He
Chopra.
died.
Okay.
Lately, he died due to COVID. And, he
Sad.
was in Maldives, and there he.
Oh, very sad. He's a look-alike to
We have
Vinod.
lost.
They're the same. They look same.
Yeah,
He's a look-alike of
yeah,
Vinod Chopra.
yeah. They're brothers, real brothers. They have to look like they actually real brothers.
Tell me something
Great
about
friend of mine.
Barisa. Tell me something about your. I mean, how did you celebrate? It was a very hardworking community. 24/7, your businesses. You had to cater to the markets and the places. What were your celebrations? We had this spiritual excursions, like we used to go to Shankaracharya and the religious places. I mean, it was a multiple tasking kind of a thing. We used to. It was a trekking as well as paying obeisance to the god. But apart that, how did you celebrate life? Did you go to the Tunga cruise? Did you adopt any place in the? I mean, Mughal gardens used to go there because in those times probably taxis were not there. How was it? Tell me
Yeah.
something about your celebration of life in Kashmir as
You
a
see, we
community.
had our own, yeah, we had our own ways to enjoy our, go for the excursions. And like, something, first I tell you about the Harsing High Street. The Sundays would be a tough time for them to spend, they can't sit idle, business community.
All
They
working, all
would
working.
like to, they would, yeah, all the time working. Normally, they on Sundays, they would sit under the sun and play cards. But sometime when the weather is permitting, they would hire Tonga and go to Chashma Shai with the stoves and with all the utensils and cook there and spend the whole day, come back. That used to be a kind of a entertainment.
Arey, wow.
Cinema was,
That was great.
yeah, cinemas were not much. And at the last turn of the Chashma Shai, everybody would get down from the Tonga, and only the stove and the elderly, my grandfather, would sit on the tongue and go right up to the gate of the Chashma Shai. But we used to have a lot of fun, spread the chadar out there and play around and eat rajma chawal and puri chole and whatnot. And that kind of a entertainment. Chashma Shai water, as you know, was very good for the health, and we all the time wanted to go to Chashma Shai rather than Nishad Bagh. And Nishad Bagh was a very beautiful garden.
Beautiful.
So was
Beautiful.
Shalimar. That was a little far away in those days because Tongas were only convenient up to uh, Chashma Shai, coming from Hari Singh High Street to Chashma Shai. But later on, that was my early school time. But later on, during college time, we were more adventurous. We would hire a dunga from Shergadi
Yoga Cruz.
Ghat, dunga cruise. Yeah, you were rightly saying, putting the right word. With three, four, five friends, I think. Yeah, there were five of us. Myself, Khurshid, Vinny Tulli, Ved Chopra, no, not Ved Chopra, Veer, Boogie, Ved Kashyap. Ved Kashyap was a college, SP college student, but when he joined engineering college, so we had a point to go to for the loo in the morning. So we would stop at near the regional engineering college, go to their hostel and relax. And during that Dunga, normally we used to take it out on the Purnamashi days, full moon, when the full moon is there. It is a
Okay.
wonderful scene to watch full moon when you are in the lake, Dal Lake. I tell you, I still has those sweet memories. And those days we used to have only transistors, radio. We would put
Radio
on
was
some
a
music.
so
Yeah,
beautiful
transistors,
small
big
thing.
one, transistors. And later, those cassettes had come, and we would play songs of our choice. So that was a great fun. We would carry a cook with us. The Dunga woman would be a cook for us. She would cook. We spread the wagyu hota tha. Wagyu se uske upar dari and all that. And then we sleep there and have
Mat,
great
mat,
mat.
that
Yeah,
grass mat, grass mat,
the local grass mat. Wagyu
grass mat here.
in Kashmir. Yeah, in Kashmir it's called a grass mat. Wagyu, but it's a grass mat. On the
Yeah.
top they would have a. So that was a great time watching the full moon from the different angles on the lake
Uh,
side. It was a wonderful. Weather used to be
Noka Vihar.
those very wow, beautiful. And the cooking and the diet we had on the dunga itself, the lady would cook. We had carried huge uh, uh, mutton piece of goat. Would get every dish properly cooked there on the dunga itself. We used
And
to enjoy a
you
lot.
are also witness to some Daryai Jalus,
Yeah, the
the,
right look.
the
That
water
was,
procession. Yeah,
yeah,
some
like
memories about that witness.
yeah. Our school, the school used to participate in that Dhirai Jalus, and then the army, then the sorry, this. police also had a jhanki, like 26 January we have in Delhi.
Yes. Your sound is off. Yeah,
Those
it's okay.
jhanki. Yeah, no,
Please,
are you
please. Yeah, we are listening.
and
We are listening.
those jhankies would start from the Zero Bridge side, Zero Bridge,
Okay.
and go all
Zero
the
bridge.
way through under the Mira Gadar Bridge and pass through up to the Secretariat and go right down to that. Those the residues were very nice with pomp and show, with music, Kashmiri local music. It was a wonderful scene.
There was one procession
I wish
also,
we had
which is
more.
does the rounds in the social circles. That is about the Bulgarian visiting Russian, those two Russians visiting Kashmir, and then the whole procession going on through the river, people greeting them on the banks.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes. Please continue.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Listening, sir.
Hello.
Please continue.
Hello.
Ah, yes, yes. You
Hello.
are audible.
Hello. Hello.
Please continue. You are audible. Please
I'm so
continue.
sorry. Hello. Your voice is not coming. My voice is coming to you.
Your voice is coming. Please, you continue. Your continue. Yes, yes, your voice is coming.
So those procession used to be there with the great pomp and show. We used to enjoy, and that was a wonderful time those days. And my memories, if they don't fail, uh, we used to participate in that school time. And I have one another memory in my mind to tell you about those days, our
Yes,
school, during our school time.
please.
We had Bulgarian and Christian visiting Srinagar along with Jawaharlal Nehru ji,
JNU, Jawaharlal
and
Nehru.
he had to pass through our school DAV Magarman Bagh. We we made the arrangement to stop that procession, and we had fixed up on the top of the road, hanging a
Bridge.
girl with a pari robe and on, and the
Ferry
procession
road.
would stop. The pari would come down and garland the Bulgarian Khrushchev. It was
Wonderful.
a great
Yeah.
effort, we had to put in those as
Innovation.
schoolboys.
Great creativity.
I'm
Yeah.
not able to hear.
My voice is not audible. Okay. Doesn't matter. You can continue. You
uh,
please continue. You can continue. My voice is not audible to you. Hello. Tell us about. Do you listen? Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
hello,
You are audible to us, but
hello.
your picture is gone. Hello. 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 I think there is some technical issue at
Hello,
Bari Saab. Yes, you are audible to
hello.
us. Hello. There must be some technical snag over there. So, what can be done if he is able to correct it within some minutes? Otherwise, we'll close this program. Uh, बारी साहब आवाज आ रही है?
Hello.
हेलो हेलो So I think this connection has cut off. Unfortunately, this program and this interview, this show has to be cut short. Uh, I don't know if Bari Saab is able to join within some seconds. We'll just
Hello,
see. Hello, Bari Saab, you're back. Am I
hello.
audible? आवाज आ रही है?
Yeah, I can listen. Yeah. I'm so
अब
sorry. I don't know what happened. You see
we'll
the
close it down now. We'll close it down quickly. Tell me something about there was the life in
yeah.
Kashmir,
It
especially
it
in
it
the
was
it was in the streets of Kashmir, where there was one Dr. Smith shop which was owned by Mr. Turki, and all the bigwigs used to come there. They used to gossip about the world politics, and Kashmiris are known for the discussion of world politics. Tell us something about it,
yeah.
this whole
Yeah.
rendezvous, how
Every
things used to
Kashmir.
happen.
Every, yeah,
Please.
it so happened. It so happened that since I was in pharmaceutical business, I would go for the collection of my money to all these shops,
Okay.
like uh, and Turkey shop was known as a J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith
Yes,
was
sir.
a name which they had. J.R. Smith. That chemist shop name was J.R. Smith. That was a British during British time that some Britisher used to run, and Turkey Saab used to look after the dispensary side. And when he left, and then that shop was handled by Turkey Saab. His son became a doctor, and he had a great desire to see his son becoming a doctor. But I tell you a very interesting incident. Whenever I
Yeah.
used to go there, usually it used to be the evening time
Mm.
because I would come back from the cricket practice and then join my father and get the bag, collect for the collection, go to the all Lal Chowk and all those places up to Pratap Bagh, up to
Okay.
Harkar and those people. So when I would enter to Turkey Sahib, I was like my uncle, and I would just require. And passing through a great galaxy of great people discussing international politics, not Kashmir politics only, even the international politics. And great personalities like DP Saab DP Saab used to come, Yusuf Saab used to be there, KOUL Saab used to be there, Professor, all these big shots, you name, and they would be there having discussion going on, serious discussion. It was interesting to watch. I wish I could stay and watch. I was not matured enough to watch their mind those days. But now I
And
realize what discussion they used. Yeah,
it was
that was a
all about
wonderful.
love.
I used to touch. I used to boss up under DP Saab because his son Vijay is a good friend of mine and great man. He would look at me, bless me.
Okay.
Great
Brilliant
personality.
person.
I have great,
Brilliant and very
brilliant man.
blessed.
Very blessed, very blessed. I have great honor, great memories of great man.
You have, yeah, yeah. Please
Yeah,
continue. Please,
please,
sir.
please.
I would
So
like to say that you, because you are into pharmaceutical business, tell me about. I don't know how much you can talk about DP Saab. DP Saab, along with DP Saab, there were the great personalities like Ali Jan was. He was also a doctor, and
yeah.
there was
I know.
one
I
Dr.
knew him
Nasir also.
personally.
Tell us
I
something
knew
about
him
these
personally.
people.
All these.
There was also
You
Kashmiri
see,
Pandit
Doctor
doctor
Ali
who was
Jan,
well known to you. Yeah.
Doctor Shinglu was there.
Bangalore, Dr.
His
Nasir,
patient is
Dr. Adnan. Yeah, please.
Dr. Ali Jan used to do practice near exhibition side on the near Khalsa side, Khalsa school side.
Answer school.
And I used to go there for detailing my products. I used to detail for my Renbexy products. Renbexy in those days was a very small company. They could not afford even a representative during those days. I used to accompany there with the senior manager from the company. And Ali Jan Sahab was such a great man. People would call him next to God, who, who could not be cured by anyone. They had so much of trust in him. By going to Alijan, they would be hale and hearty. They will recover fast and they will be hale and hearty again. That was their attitude. And Jan Sahab was so good in understanding their patient while entering the When the patient would enter the clinic in his clinic, he would diagnose what problem he had. An interesting incident of Jan Sahib, I tell you. I had seen
Okay.
with my own eyes a prescription on which he had only prescribed one medicine of my company, that was Compose.
Compose.
And he had mentioned, have one tablet Compose 5 mg at the bedtime. Stop listening Radio Pakistan. And
what?
Bindru,
What?
I was standing at the shop of Bindru, Harisingh High Street. Mohanlal
That is
Bindru
a guy
used to look up.
to
Mohanlal
write this
Bindu
in.
used to watch. Yeah, no, no, no. His brother's son died recently.
Oh,
Unfortunately, that's unfortunately. Mohanlal Bindu used to be my classmate. He was the main man there in Hari Singh Acid Bindu shop. He said, "Bari sahab, come here, come here." I said, look at this prescription. You introduced this product only 3 days back, and look at the prescription. What he has written. Those days, we had a war against Pakistan, and people would listen to Radio Pakistan, and he had a very strong notion about. He had written to many, have compost tablet one bedtime, and stop listening Radio Pakistan. I was surprised. No other medicine, no other medicine.
wow.
And
That,
compost was recently introduced. It was the latest tranquilizer. And
yeah.
when we introduced that product to Dr. Ali Jan, he said, "Oh, Diazepam is introduced. Diazepam has come to India." He knew this product, but it was not available in India. And Ranbaxy brought the company, and Ranbaxy got recognition as a big company through that product only.
Because of
Can you
diazepam.
believe it? Diazepam, Compose. No, they had the name.
Compose.
They have named the Diazepam as Compose because it puts you and with a beautiful girl's picture in a very state of compose pose. So
You go to the compost shop.
they had named this product as Compose. It became very popular. And Ali Jan Saab ka prescription was followed by so many beginners in the trade, RMPs, new doctors. He was followed by Dr. Yusuf. He had a adjoining shop with Dr. Turki Saab, J.R. Smith ki dukaan ke साथ. It was adjoining shop with Dr. Turki Saab. So he would follow bit by bit of Dr. Riz's prescription. And
What
Dr.
about Dr.
Nasir was
Nasir?
another great man, Punjabi speaking
He was
doctor,
from Karna.
but
Karna,
great,
they came from, yeah, family from Karna.
yeah, great human being, great human being. Great. I must admire these two personalities. They used to come to a Srinagar club. And my membership was given to me by Dr. Saab, Ali Jan Saab, of Srinagar club. That used to be dominated by Punjabis only.
Yeah, it
And
was Punjabis,
all
Punjabi
Punjabi
business people.
families,
Business people. You know,
business people.
Kashmir,
Prana
Punjabi
Puri,
Khatri business.
Prana Puri was the main man running that Srinagar club. He was the owner of Badridas Kedarnath, another pharmaceutical dealer from Hari Singh High Street. He had a office in front of Hanuman Mandir. Another great guy. He was a very aristocrat kind of a person. Whereas I was down to earth. I would drive the car, go to the chemist shop, sell my products. I was a very flamboyant kind of a pharmacist. They gave me a degree of RMP also. Do you know that? I never practiced because I thought it is crime. I thought it's a crime to become a doctor through that and prescribe medicine. Since I never did the medical, I've never been to medical line. But the but the but the drug authorities were kind enough to give me the degree of RMP. They rightly so. Those days were, there were not many doctors. People thought it's good to give them the lessons so that they can practice. They are
Inadequacy
knowledgeable
of
about the
doctors.
product.
So that was wonderful
Yeah,
listening to you. It
inadequacy
was
of.
great reminiscences, great contours, great recall. We went to the many places because the paucity of time and the scope of program, we could not stay in the many ways. Every bay, every shade has a different story. So there are threads and threads. So I would definitely love that in future. I'll also engage you on this show. But personally, I'm going to listen to
Sure.
your
All
stories. That would be great. Great. And one final question I would like to say: you Khatri Punjabi Khatri family, they went to Kashmir. They built Kashmir brick by brick through their businesses. They changed this whole 3S economy to a wonderful multi-set economy. They were the instrumental, the pioneers on such businesses of the modern Kashmir. And all the peaks of Kashmir, all the water bodies of Kashmir, all the salubrious climates of Kashmir, contours of Kashmir, flora and fauna of Kashmir, the visiting birds of Kashmir, they all must be recalling you. They all must be calling you somewhere down the line. Do you regret
of course.
while being in India, you're away from
Same here. I I really, you see, going to Shankaracharya was my daily routine. And that is still in my heart. The memories of that going to that Pagdandi, that track is all the
track?
time in my mind. When I close my eyes, the Shankaracharya track is all the time. Really, must I go? I would never miss any day when I would not go. Even my daughter, my Vandana, would go with me, and she would recall, Papa, the birds have come closer to us. Look, look, I said, look, they are chirping, they're saying, welcome, Vandana, welcome, Vandana. And she would feel really happy on those, she was the kids after all, they would feel so
Small kids.
delighted to have such a comment. And those days are, and Shankaracharya, the first step, second, no, second step, when you climb up to the temple, the second step, there is a small piece of stone on the step itself, on the edge of the step, a small white color shivling kind of a stone, natural stone, and with a
Natural.
line on it and with the eye on it. I would go on the very first my attempt to touch my head with that shivling and then
Over your
go
head.
up the temple, go ahead before the shivling, and that still
It's
is
a great.
in front of my eyes. Those I wish those days would come, and I get the energy back to go to. After 8 o'clock, going to Shankaracharya is like a tourist spot. We used to go the early morning, see the sunrise from there, from the mountains, and the first kiran of that sun would fall on us, and then on the valley. It would take away all
Oh,
your, uh, yeah, it would take away all your
stresses.
thakawat and what we call
And
stresses
then the
and energy,
panorama
tiredness,
down,
and
looking at Dal Lake and the
oh,
city
beautiful,
is
beautiful,
enormously nourishing. It's rejuvenating.
beautiful,
It lifts you up. Yeah, that is
beautiful.
a wonderful.
I've
We
seen
all
I
go. Yes,
same
please.
here, same here. It was. You see, you are at the last. You have reminded me of Shankaracharya. I remember one scene when we were surrounded by the clouds. We could not see anything outside the. We were inside the temple. We could not see outside anything out there. It was so dark. It was like evening in the morning time. Suddenly, into the dark, what we saw, the backside of the entire temple where we were standing was lightened up. I could not make out. Then I looked around on the ground outside the temple. There was a small patch in the cloud, which had a kind window kind of a thing, and the sun was shining on a water. That the rain was there, and there was a road going to the Karan Singh Palace, and there was a
What a
water
vision.
on it. The sun rays reflected from that water into the temple.
Oh my
Can you
God.
believe it? That
What a, what a
and
spectacular
everything
imagery.
was, yeah, everything was dark outside. Only that little window had given the light inside the temple.
Peeping
That
light.
is a
Peeping
memorable
light
scene. Oh, peeping light from the ground, not
from
from
the
the
ground. My
sky.
You have these amazing experiences when you have a faith and you love these deities. You get these experiences because it's all in science of experiences. Bole Shivnath gives you many experiences in life. So that was wonderful.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
finish
yeah,
this wonderful conversation, which will go on and on, but we'll finish it for today. And I'm really delighted. I'm very honored that we have a personality like you, and we heard the beautiful narratives about Kashmir, the trade, and other businesses. So there are more to these things, but that we'll see in the future. Thank you very much for your visit to Sheetalnath Conversations. We are really grateful,
You're welcome.
Harish Bahri.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
And God stay blessed all that. Stay blessed all
Thank
that.
you. So that was Harish Bahri, the business baron and the iconic cricketer from Kashmir, the brilliant man from the royalty of business from Mirpur. And he talked about the contribution of Khatris. He talked about the cricket. He talked about the bonhomie of those times. He talked about the entire environment, psychological, physical, social environment. And he talked about the college and times and people. Certainly, this is a great experience for all of us. And certainly, it must be a very enriching experience for youngsters that when we peep through, when we recall these wonderful memories of Kashmir, our civilization. With that note, I would like to end this program today. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Urzu.
Urzu.